is your favorite celebrity entrepreneur? And this is going to be a homework assignment until we see each other again. I want you to study their page. Type their name into Facebook after you type it into the chat. For me, it's Richard Branson. I met Richard at the Synergy Global Forum in New York City, and I love this photo because it's just so real. When you go and you look up Richard Branson on Facebook, you don't find his personal page. You find his fan page. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about, is a fan page. 3.2 million people like the fan page, including 637 of my friends. And 4 million people follow him. And look at what he has, a book. Okay, a very simple book. He's sitting on his own island in shorts. He's got color consistency between his book cover and his shirt, and he's branding himself. Okay, he's a public figure. And 21 hours ago, somebody posted a picture of him and his family. I want you to look at your favorite celebrity and model them. Don't copy them, but model them. And model them as you create your page. So today we're going to talk about the difference between personal Facebook and Facebook for business. And what I'm going to talk to you about is about social media relevance. But first of all, why should you listen to me? I would say just Google me. I've been around for a long time. There I am on the cover of Insights magazine. My publisher is Vicki Winterton. She's part of Best-Selling Authors International. She's published me in 2 best-selling books, Ready, Aim, Influence and Ready, Aim, Inspire. And going ahead, this is a little bit about my bio. I took a few years off. I just became a surfer and then a surfing instructor, and then I was studying piano in Hawaii. I got started in MSN, the Microsoft Network, in '94. I was interviewing personal growth and leadership experts like Deepak Chopra before he was famous, and Jack Canfield before he wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. I could always count on Jack whenever Deepak canceled. So that was like my story back then. And Microsoft kept saying, Vic, why do you keep bringing this Indian guy on our show? And I would say he's going to be famous someday. Just trust me. I've created my own search engine. It's called EarthGrid. I have my own keyword research software for YouTube and Facebook. It's called Search Triggers. I'm a publisher of a newsletter called The Launch Newsletter, which showcases product launches. And I invented a social media editor to make your posts pop off the page that's used by thousands of people all over the world, called SociSnap. And everyone always asks me about my search engine. Well, on the left side, that's what it looked like in 2002. It wasn't really a search engine. It was a community. Our homepage was ID, password, and then enter. And our whole idea was giving people a free web page. We never really thought that we would evolve into a search engine. And over on the right-hand side is what it looks like today. It's a full-blown search engine. And I have a philosophy, and I just want to align you with where I'm coming from in terms of sales. Our company philosophy at EarthGrid is that a sale is not something you pursue. It's what happens to you while you're immersed in serving others with their needs. And as long as you keep that in mind in everything I'm going to teach you tonight, you're going to crush it in your marketing and in your Facebook ads. So I mentioned SociSnap a little bit earlier. This is one of my clients. She's a musician, and on the left side was her normal post. She spent $500 on boosting that post. And on the right side, she spent $250 on boosting the same post with a little bit of my coaching and my software. In organic, you're investing your time, and you want to be investing your time frequently. You have to keep investing your time. If you stop investing your time, you will lose engagement with your audience. You have to be consistent. And you don't want to post more often than every 4 hours, because otherwise you will be competing against yourself. So if you build that up as a strategy, then you're posting every 4 hours. And you're sharing your posts with your friends. You're going into groups. You're connecting with people. Even Mark Zuckerberg has a personal friends page. And the question is, they're not promoting their business on their page. You'll see that without exception, they're never promoting anything on their page. Their personal wall is about promoting their friends and about sharing their life and their lifestyle. So it brings up the question of authenticity. And this is a tip, but I have found that you will get way more engagement on your personal wall if you don't have links. Just don't put any links on your personal wall. Why? Because when you put links, you're taking people off of Facebook, and people don't want to necessarily share something that has no links. Now let's compare that to the paid side by side. On the paid side, you do it once. You're building audiences as opposed to keep investing your time. You don't have to be consistent. In fact, it's better off if you're not. You do something called a campaign. Even Facebook itself told me, Vic, you're better off setting aside 14 days for your campaign and then stopping for a while and setting aside a budget for that campaign. Instead of every 4 hours, you can turn on and off your campaigns with one click. So I create these campaigns, I run them for a couple weeks, make some money, shut it off for about a month or two, then I can let the market cool off a little bit, and then I can turn the exact same campaign back on. And you're building valuable content. You're actually taking your best stuff and you're posting it somewhere where people will see it, and you can be really open about your business. And the principle of fair exchange. I interviewed Dr. John DeMartini on my channel, on my YouTube channel, a few weeks ago, and I love his principles of fair exchange. It's basically payment is due when services are rendered. So people pay money, and you're also, like in this case, I'm paying Facebook, and I'm willing to give them up to $150 to bring me a customer for a $500 program. I can do that all day long. And finally, on the paid side, you're encouraged to put links and buttons, and it doesn't really hurt your engagement because you're showing up as a sponsored post and people expect it. Okay? So let's talk about Zig Ziglar, and this is the mindset part of this. Zig said every sale has 5 basic obstacles: no need, no money, no hurry, no desire, and no trust. And what you want to do is build these 5 ingredients with your fan base. And I came up with a strategy for it. I realized, okay, he has the right ingredients. However, it's not in the right order. And most people try to do all 5 elements from a single post. And what I came up with was a method and a strategy I called Facebook relevance, where I do one post that's all about the need, one post. I actually do all of my posts first about the trust. Then I focus on the desire. Then I focus on the need. Then I focus on the money. And then I put in the hurry. And that's the right sequence, okay? Because you have to build trust first. And you ask for the money second to last, but people won't give you their money unless they feel there's an urgency for it. So I created Facebook Relevance in 2018. It's a course I made in response to a music mastermind retreat. Yes, I actually went to one of those $3,500 music mastermind retreats. And I did my homework. I took one of my DVDs. That's me playing the piano at Maui Arts and Cultural Center. I took my DVD and I uploaded it to Facebook, and I did some of the assignments before I showed up to the retreat. And I had everything done the night before everyone was there. And I started getting better results than other people in the room. And there were about 20 or 30 people there. And there was a point where I kept asking all these questions, and eventually the teacher said, "Vic, do you want to teach the class?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I do." And so he gave me the microphone and I taught the class for the rest of the day. And I realized, wow, I love teaching Facebook, especially to beginners. And I helped them get through the weekend mastermind. Well, since then, I've been refining my craft for 3 years. I took this screenshot from one of our campaigns. We've generated in this one campaign 4,620 leads at 50 cents per lead. Yes, we gave Facebook $2,000, but who wants 50-cent leads? Most people are still in the world of $1.10 per click solo ads, right? Why would I spend $1.10 for a click when I could be generating a bona fide lead for my business for 50 cents using Facebook ads? So I've been refining my craft for about 3 years. Along my journey, one of my friends who runs an agency in New Jersey rang me up and said, "Vic, you're doing all this results," and he bought my course, Facebook Relevance, years ago. "Could you help the mayor in a small town in New Jersey win a political campaign?" I said, "Absolutely." And they gave us a budget, and we came in at, I think, about a fifth of the budget of what the competitors were charging, and we were able to produce a 53-fold return on his current reach. And yes, we did win the campaign. It was crazy how much engagement we were able to get with that community. So I knew I was onto something. I also got certified in several programs, digital marketer, paid traffic mastery, and I was focusing on interagency partnerships. Okay. And I'm basically saying this for a reason, because once you get certified, you find out, okay, here's where I love to play. I love to play in the conversion funnels. I love to play in the paid traffic side. But honestly, I like working with people. So I had a team on the ground in New Jersey. I had people shooting with phones, teenagers that were filming themselves saying, "Go vote, go vote." I didn't have to do any of the social stuff. I was just pulling the strings behind the curtains, and that's why we won. And what I love about that is once you get these different certifications under belt, this is one of the certifications I'm with. I study with Onyx Singal in the Learn organization. They have also courses in Robert Kiyosaki and things like that. I studied everything I could find on Facebook. Why? I wanted to see if they had found the same secret that I found, but I discovered that they approached it differently than I did. And in a nutshell, they all had this attitude: the more you spend, the more you make. If you can be the top dog and spend the most, then you'll get the most sales. And while that is true, that is a strategy that didn't work for me as a musician. Because, like I said, I wanted people to hear my music. And music does not sell for $500, $1,000, or $2,000. So if you're selling something that will have a lifetime value of $500 or $1,000 or $2,000, then it's a great idea to be running Facebook ads. I had a very, very simple idea. Instead of this thing that marketers keep talking about, how many of you have heard about a target audience? Target audience, a target audience. Focus on your target audience. I thought to myself, let's forget the target audience for a while and let's focus on refining who's interested. Okay? Whoa. Let me put it another way. Relevance, as I define it, is there's something called creative. Creative is your videos, your pictures, your branding, your graphics. It's going to appeal to a certain type of person. Like I'm wearing a Paisley shirt right now because I'm wanting to convey I'm an artist. I'm just like you. I'm a piano player. I wear a hat. All those things are in the realm of creative. Okay? The audience for that would be an artistic community or maybe a female community, and people would respond to it based on it. Relevance is whether your creative appeals to your audience. Now, if I want to hit rock and roll or heavy metal fans, I would put on a Metallica t-shirt. I would maybe not wear a hat. I would probably have some chains on. Okay? So there is no right or wrong about, oh, this is the way to do it. Each audience responds differently. And this is sometimes really hard for people to grasp. There are no rules. It's all relative to the audience. And I thought to myself, wow, where we need to focus on is before a click, before you ask them to leave Facebook, before a click. And so I created a course called Before a Click. And I said, you know what? Just like that, what Zig Ziglar said, I found that there are 7 critical things you simply must convey before asking people to click away from their social media newsfeed. And I called it Before a Click, and I've taught it now 4 or 5 times, and that's a much longer training. But I realized, okay, wow, this is the juice. Because think of it this way. It costs me 10 times as much to have someone leave Facebook and go to my landing page and opt in. So if I do all the same things that I would otherwise use an email follow-up sequence, I would start opting in, get leads, build a business, and all that kind of stuff, I'm spending more than I need to. I can do that disqualification and qualification directly inside of Facebook. So I created a tool called SociSnap, and this is what it looks like. And what it does is it makes these bolds, italics, and emojis, and even has an emoji editor with thousands of people all across the world that are using it, and it has the most popular emojis that get attention, the ones that people are using all the time. And I found that, look at this, I could get more engagement organically, and then I would click the boost post button. I love boosting posts. Now I'm going to give you guys another secret, and write this down. 3 simple steps. Build a fan page. Post on your fan page. And here's the secret. Wait. Most people, as soon as they hit post, they hit boost. I don't do that. I let it marinate. I let it marinate like cooking, right? I put up a selfie video right here. I said, great marketing takes hours and a lot of money. Use our proven tested system and simply share our software for free. We will pay for the ads. And I got exactly, there's that 10x metric again. I took something and I waited until 100 people got it. And I got this notification from Facebook. They said, Vic, this post is performing 95% better than other posts on your page. Boost it to reach, for $10 to reach thousands of people. And here's what I do. I follow Facebook's instructions exactly, fully knowing that I know better than what they're recommending. And let me tell you why that's a really, really key. If you try to outsmart Facebook, you will not get the results than if you simply refine what you do. So that's why I discovered, I honed this stuff down to such a science that I found that if I tried to micro target, and I didn't have that loss of like just doing what Facebook says, they wouldn't show my ads at all. You have to season it. So what I do now is I plan my campaigns with the best practice, but I do it wrong deliberately in the beginning just for a little while. I allow myself to lose a little bit of money, fully knowing that I'm going to make it back later. So I recommend you use my method to build niche audiences. This goes way beyond targeting, because what I discovered was it wasn't about targeting. It was about observing, did I hit my target? And oftentimes, what I discover by observing is that my actual audience, people who love my stuff, was not who I was targeting. It was who Facebook brought to me. And I group people by who take action, not by people who like my stuff. I go for buyers, people who purchase, who take action, don't just sit on their hands. Here's a recent Facebook video ad. I'm going to just show you a couple of examples. I want to give you some recent case studies. Okay? From that ad I just showed you, 4,197 people were shown the post. 554 people clicked the play button and watched it for 3 seconds. 82 people played through. My goal was not to get them to click. My goal was to have them self-select based on interest. So what do I do with relevance at that point? I focus on those 82 people. I ignore those 4,000 people, because think about it this way. Every single eyeball that watches something in your newsfeed, you're paying for. And what I discovered was, by simply observing who loves my stuff and just giving them more, I could save money and also start to build a fan base. So my goal was to screen people based on who's viewing my stuff. You want to think of ads to complement your other marketing activities, such as emailing your list, posting on Facebook, tweeting, SEO, web pages, and search traffic. My entire deep Facebook ads training called Facebook Relevance. This is now the new version called the 2.0 that is been given away, a little taste of it at fbrelevance.com. We've always had a free training for beginners. That's been my philosophy all the time. This is when you go to fbrelevance.com, my free training is like, it looks like this. Enter your best email and get instant access. And this is the actual landing page that I used to promote the training a number of years ago. But it's really, really changed, and it's gotten a lot more refined since we first launched it. So I want to talk about a huge problem in e-learning today, because I call it NPP. And NPP stands for Newbie Predatory Practices. It's a huge problem. I see it in my Facebook. I see it in YouTube. I see it in every single ad. I see it over and over and over and over again. And I've been looking at this for a while now. And basically, this is the profit from failure model. In other words, the more you fail, the more you buy solutions. The more you buy, the more they profit. So in other words, it's not built on a foundation of giving. It's not built on the foundation of sharing. It's not built on the foundation of other people helping each other. It's built on I'm going to, find complete beginners and I'm going to sell them a $2,000 program. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. I only sell $2,000 and $5,000 programs to advanced and expert marketers. My friend Scott, who does 6 to 7 figures a month in sales, he only sells his $10,000 Facebook training to people who already are making 6 figures. So what we focus on is the high end. What we want to do is give the beginner training away as a gift, because there's so many other people out there that are predatory on beginners. And I want to give you all of my beginner level courses as a bonus. Now, I mentioned SociSnap is my software. You can go to socisnap.com. All my beginner training in Facebook, all my beginner training in YouTube, all my beginner training in email marketing, all of that stuff is included in SociSnap, and we are improving it and refining it every single week on Fridays. Every Friday, I reflect on the week and I say, how can I make that better? It's an annual payment of $99. You want to save 30% on that?
Woohoo!
Okay, we're running a special right now for people in the community. One-time payment, you get the tools, you get the training, you get everything that I talked about, all the beginner level stuff. Save 30% with the coupon pre-launch, so it's $69.97. The system is set up for you to lose a little bit. And when I finally embraced it, I said, you know what? Facebook, I'm happy to lose for a couple of weeks if after a month I'm profitable. Right?
Absolutely.
I'm happy to lose for a week, maybe even a 2 or 3 days. It's getting shorter and shorter. They call it now the learning. They call it learning. And what's beautiful about the changes since I wrote Facebook Relevance is that not only is everything that I taught 3 years ago still work today, some of their employees told me, Vic, what you're teaching is exactly what we do with our, once there's a point. Let me just share with you. Once you have a fan page, once you spent north of $5,000 to $10,000 on Facebook, they will reach out to you and they will assign you a coach who will help you and go into your ads and help you come up with refining your campaigns. And I want all of you to get to that point. In fact, that's why I created the course, was so that Facebook will reach out to you and say, hey, we like what you're doing, but with a little twist, it could be this much better. And my biggest learning was really in the interactive calls that I had with Facebook after that happened to me 2-3 years ago. But through conversations, anything is possible. What you want to be doing is want to create a brand and just have people feel your excitement and have them come to a Zoom webinar. Because once they come to Zoom, you can say anything you want. But you don't want to be making any claims or money proof or putting any of that stuff out there, because not only is it against their terms, eventually they're going to call you on it. It's not necessary. When you look at Richard Branson's page, that's why I gave you that as an example. You want to find your celebrity entrepreneur and you want to model what they're doing. You don't need any of that other stuff. You don't need to show money proof. You don't need to show before and after shots. You don't want to be saying, hey, I joined this and then all of a sudden I made all this money. You don't need that. What you want to do instead is come up with something. It could be piano music. It could be cooking. It could be writing books. It could be doing poetry. It could be doing anything at all that's your heart of hearts, right? Being funny, cracking jokes, leadership tips. They're great. And say, hey, we're having a Zoom. Why don't you come to my Zoom? Be my guest, right? You don't need to say what's going to be on the Zoom. They'll discover that once they show up. And at that point, Facebook doesn't care, right? Facebook only cares about your claims and what you do and what you don't do. It's kind of like Spider-Man. I don't know if you remember Marvel's Spider-Man. He's sitting there in the back seat with Robert Downey Jr. and he says, you know what? Don't do what I do. Don't do what I do. And certainly don't do what I wouldn't do. It's that little gray area in between. That's where you operate, Mr. Spider-Man. And so you want to find that by looking at your celebrity entrepreneur and building a page like them. Find out who it is. A great example. One of my friends, he wrote a book and he got the foreword from John Gray of Women Are from Mars and Men Are from Venus. Actually, I wrote that. I got that backwards. That was intentional. But what he did there, John Gray is a network marketer. He sells nutritional products in a network marketing thing. Last time I saw him at a book signing, he was pitching a network marketing opportunity in the back of the room, and everyone bought it. Why did people show up? It was his book, right? They wanted to sign Men Are from Mars and Women Are from Venus. When you look at his page, what they're selling is not what they're selling. They're selling themselves. Night. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one.